CID The Dummy was released in 2009 for the PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portable, PC, and most notable of all, Nintendo Wii. Guess which version we played? The game itself is an action platformer developed by 12.
12? 12 what? 12 people? 12 ducks? 12 monkeys?
I have a sneaking suspicion that 12 may be the total number of people that bought the game.
Judging by the cover, the game is all about a crash test dummy likely named Sid.
Wait, is this game a spin-off of the crash test dummies from the 90s?
Oh, you mean the characters that started off as a car safety public service announcement that spawned a cultural phenomenon, including action figures, TV specials, and a video game?
Yeah?
No! According to the manual, Sid is a crash impact dummy. Totally different than a crash test dummy.
Wait, so you're telling me the name of this game is actually Crash Impact Dummy, the Dummy?
Yup, kind of a problem, right? Well, here's another. Listen to the music that greets you on the Wii startup page.
What did they do? Did they rip off Fatboy Slim's weapon of choice? The game hasn't even started and I'm already filled with dread.
Wonderful, isn't it?
Well, let's get this over with. What is Sid about?
According to the manual, the story is all about two scientists, a good one and a bad one who were once colleagues but are now bitter rivals. The good one, Dr. B.M. Workin, is the creator of sentient dummies used to test things, and apparently also stole a technology from the bad one named Detroit.
Is that really their names? B.M. Workin and Detroit?
That's what's written here, man.
Oh, for the love of...
To get back at Workin for stealing his special tech, Detroit uses his army of robots to abduct Workin's daughter. Now Sid, our hero, is sent out to save her.
Wait. The story is about two scientists who designed tech that created enhanced machine helpers?
Yes, and then one of them turned bad and began amassing an army of evil sentient automatons?
And the other created a hero robot to fight the bad guy's army of once helpful robots.
That's good plot!
Yeah, never heard that before.
All of this completely original plot is told through an opening series of cutscenes that need to be seen to be believed.
Amazing. This animation looks like a student project from the early 90s.
When was this released again?
2009.
Anyway, this animated sequence shows off Detroit sending out a message to amass a team of skilled robots
To what?
Actually, I don't think he ever says. He's already kidnapped the good doctor's daughter, and I think that's his endgame. He's kind of already succeeded, and as far as we know, he has no idea who or what Sid is, so this team is for... nothing, I guess.
Overall, this cutscene was 5 minutes long for no reason at all. No joke, it was meaningless.
Right, now we're just left with a bunch of questions. What's with Workin volunteering Sid for this dangerous mission without even asking him? And when did Detroit abduct the daughter in the first place? Also, what's with his chin?
And instead of making a game intro that's coherent, the developers decided to waste our time with this.
You heap of junk! I'll be waiting for you. The things I have to put up with.
Oh, that's good.
And don't think we forgot about the voice acting.
It's our absolute privilege and honor to introduce to you some of the worst voice acting we have ever heard in a video game.
Every day I hear him complaining. Well, now we'll see what he's made of.
We want so desperately to let you know who any of these voice actors are, but in the very credits of this game, not a single person is named.
Holy transistors! I never thought he would do this.
Wait, I know who that is.
Oh, you do?
Of course, it's Julia Child.
Julia Child presents the Chicken Sisters.
Detroit
Miss Broiler,
must have
Miss Fryer,
recycled it.
Miss
Detroit
Roaster,
knows
Miss
all
Haberman,
the passages that lead to his fake plastic now.
Good gravy.
And don't for a second think that all this amazing voice acting is limited to cutscenes.
This game suffers from what we like to call Bubsy-itis.
Bubsy-itis, dear viewers, is a sentence or line of dialogue that is repeated ad nauseum.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yes, quite. Our boy Sid has a similar tendency to repeat his lines.
Not such a dummy now, am I? Not such a dummy now, am I? Not such a dummy now, am I?
So far, we have animations from a Dire Straits music video, voice acting that could peel the paint off walls, and a story that's headed nowhere. But I hear you asking,
What is the gameplay like?
The tutorial is our first glimpse of the in-game graphics and... Ooh, that's rough.
It looks like a PlayStation 1 game.
What year did this come out again?
2009.
Not such a dummy now, am I?
Good, right. Okay, whatever. Let's get into the action. We're moving on and... Oh, okay. Yeah, because this is the Wii version of the game, the developers shoehorned in motion controls.
It's probably fine.
Oh yeah? You flail to punch.
Not such a dummy now, am I?
Sid's attack animation reminds me of how I used to fight on the playground. I cried a lot back then.
You know what makes me cry? When you accidentally trigger Sid's attack, he'll get locked into his animation. Sid will continue punching and moving forward until he walks into obstacles or falls off a ledge. And by the way, triggering an attack happens all the time when you just barely move your hands.
Well, isn't there some other way of attacking?
Yes, Sid has a bazooka.
Oh, good.
Motion controls.
Oh, bad.
You don't know the half of it. You have to hold down the A button and carefully move the controller towards your shoulder like you're pulling out an invisible rocket launcher or like you're using a back scratcher. You do this to equip and unequip the bazooka every time.
Well, does that at least work?
25% of the time, maybe.
So, we've got a bunch of motion-controlled punches, awkward and unresponsive bazooka management, but Sid also has the ability to use stealth.
It's bad. It's bad. It's really, 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 really bad. It's an awful game.
That was fun.
Glad you enjoyed it, because those sneaking movements are never used for the rest of the game.
And speaking of the way you move, typically in a 2.5D game like this, you have fixed planes of movement, focusing gameplay and making it easy to move around and attack enemies.
Seems like they might have been inspired by something.
Oh, really? What makes you say that?
No reason.
But Crash Bandicoot, this ain't! Would you like to know how they messed it up?
Well, they took the 2.5D concept and were like, oh, why not make a fixed plane style game and like let you have 360-degree movement, but like everywhere?
Doesn't sound like a problem. Anytime you move anywhere, every jump you make, every attack you attempt, you'll never be sure that it will land. It's almost impossible to gauge distance and space.
The same issue with positioning also affects your bazooka. Your character can be aiming in any direction instead of a fixed one. So if you happen to be looking just slightly, and I mean slightly off from your target, you will not hit it.
But Shane, what's with the aiming cursor? Can't you just use the handy-dandy Wii remote to aim at targets on the screen?
Oh, you would think that, wouldn't you? But no. See, what you're actually doing here is aiming at the screen to let the game know you want to shoot. See, you can aim anywhere on the screen, and besides some very specific circumstances, Sid will never actually aim where you're physically pointing the Wii remote.
Again, all of the shooting in this game is engaged by a stupid back scratch motion that works less than a quarter of the time.
If the game ever becomes too much and nothing seems to work and you're really frustrated, just take both of your hands and shake them as hard as you can. And you know what happens if you do that right?
Panic mode!
The game will instantly destroy anything and everything in your path.
And you'll be panicking a lot from each and every level's countless glitches, bugs, and poor designs.
And now, a brief selection of glitches you will find in Sid the Dummy.
Hey, look, a switch! What does a hefty metal switch sound like when you move it?
Fax machine. Yep. Oh, that sounds good. Next.
Check this out. Reflections in glass. Except they're tiny and not at all how a reflection should actually work.
Here we notice shadows being improperly projected on the roof.
Here's a glitch where you can walk on water.
Here's a glitch where you can walk on lava.
The developers don't seem to be very good with fluids.
I think you're right, because when we get to a stage with water, all hope is lost. This is the worst water level in any video game we have ever played.
You control Sid with the joystick to swim. That part is normal, and you probably guessed that's how it would work, right?
But do you know how you get Sid to swim higher or lower?
Physically raise and lower your hand with the Wii remote to hopefully trigger the height adjustment.
That doesn't sound like it would be accurate at all.
It's not! But at least while you're underwater, you're constantly surrounded by sea mines!
But what about hard water?
What? I don't...
Ice, you dingus! There's a snow level that takes all the bad controls and makes it 10 times worse by introducing...
No.
Yes.
Slippiness?
Yes, sir. Slippery ice combined with an uncontrollable character. Plus that one fun issue where if you happen to move your hand just a little bit, Sid does the whole fun lock into a flailing attack thing where he will walk off of edges!
Hey, I got an idea. How about we take everything that is awful with the ice level and just give it one more solid push into the impossibly bad?
How?
Let's have a boss battle where a giant ice monster is chasing you and can pick you up and kill you if he catches you. And while you're struggling with the ice slipperiness, the movement, and the timing, let's also force you to use that back scratch movement thing to pull out your bazooka to fire at things that are in your way while you're walking and jumping, doing all of this at the same damn time.
This game, it was never tested, was it?
Probably not. I don't think a single design idea was thoroughly thought out. Take this level, for example. It's a graveyard for crash dummies.
Why? Are these zombie dummies to test what zombies go through for safety?
Sure, why not? Maybe. And here's a hole for ghosts.
A ghost hole?
Wait.
Could that mean...
Ooh! It's the ghost of the money we wasted on this game! Hey, fellas! What game is this?
Oh, it's Sid the Dummy on the Nintendo Wii.
Not such a dummy now, am I?
That! You two are on your own! Ghost out! It's impossible to track just how much is wrong with this game. The basic core design of the world and what's going on in every sequence works against you.
There's one part of the game where Sid is driving a car.
By the way, the music being used here, just have a listen.
Yeah, that's just a shoddy ripoff of the battle music from Final Fantasy VII.
Back to the car. Sid is driving it. Not to safety, by the way, but directly into a barrier that smashes Sid out of the window violently and through several full brick walls.
Sid is a crash impact dummy. This is what he's made for. He's pretty much invincible.
So, imagine the shock and horror we both had when we discovered that Sid has fall damage.
And not just fall damage, full on instant game over on impact.
He can survive getting thrown through 5 walls, but will die on impact when he hits the floor kinda hard. Impact. It's in his freaking name.
The whole game is a confusing mess. We had multiple deaths that seemed unfair or came out of nowhere entirely.
This is a flying sequence that has Sid riding another robot across some water. This whole time you need to keep the robot flying by holding up on the thumbstick while also avoiding obstacles. If you don't keep holding up, he'll fall into the water and die.
So we did that. We held up.
And we beat the level.
But when the score screen came up to show us how well we did, when we beat the level, we heard this.
That's the sound of falling into the water, but that doesn't make sense. And then suddenly, without reason, the level restarted.
Do you know what happened, folks?
We stopped holding the thumbstick up to keep the robot flying at the score screen because, well, the level was over, right? We had beaten it.
Turns out we weren't supposed to do that. The level didn't stop even at the score screen. If you let go, he will die behind the scenes.
Not such a dummy.
If you manage to break through the hours of levels and wade through the filth of this whole experience, you'll eventually get to a castle because, hey, why not? Where else is a big bad villain gonna be? And you defeat a robot that looks like he's pulled straight out of Sonic Adventure.
Detroit is defeated, and Sid saves the good professor's daughter.
Wait, the daughter is a crash test dummy?
Oh, right, yeah. Apparently she's not really his daughter, but instead is a crash impact dummy infused with the essence of his real daughter who died.
What is actually going on anymore? I don't...
Most important thing here is that Sid berates the woman he just saved.
I almost decided to leave her there. She's way too demanding for my liking. Perhaps he could have made a nice microwave out of your spare parts. Or a hi-fi, since you're so noisy.
That's really harsh.
Even harsher when you realize that these two have never actually spoken to each other before this exact moment.
He's complaining about how mouthy she is.
She doesn't have a mouth!
So Sid is just a really bad person, and by all accounts, at the end of the game, it reveals just how shallow and mean-spirited he truly is.
Not such a dummy now, am I?
No, you are the dummy, Sid. You totally are.
Sid the Dummy, made by 12, played by less.
It's just bad.
Not such a dummy now, am I?